In today's episode, I'm interviewing Raveen Beemsingh, who is the co-founder of Luminary Lane, a company that is tackling problems in the marketing and branding space. Raveen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for getting me on this podcast. It's my first podcast, so hope it all goes well.
It's funny, a lot of people say that, this podcast is their first podcast as well. And I'm happy to provide that platform for people like you, to share what you're working on. So
Yeah,
I really appreciate, actually, your co-founder had reached out to me to get you on the podcast to talk about some of the problems that you guys are solving. And I'm really excited to have this chat with you today. But what I want to start off first with is how did you get into entrepreneurship and what was your journey until this point?
yeah. So, Genet entrepreneurship uh, started in the United States. So, after working in the United States for a while, I thought I knew enough of the technology and thought, like, no, business would be a good thing. This is around the 2010, 11 time frame. As any 10-year-old experienced developer in a good paying job, you're very cocky and overconfident, and you go there and you see small kids who are just in their first year and they crush you in their ability to build products that you thought you was a child's play for you. But that was a very humbling moment the first year when I went there and we went to all these tech events and hackathons and stuff. I know tech, and actually you come to realize you actually don't know much. So that
Yes.
was a very humbling moment for me. So I said, okay, what I thought I knew was is not good enough. So ego comes crashing down, and soul searching, blah blah blah, and eventually I said, okay, I had to rebuild and reinvent myself. So with the help of all my junior, extremely junior, kids, we said, okay, I'll join everybody's hackathon team.
Mm,
And from there, learned from scratch everything, building an app, building iOS, building Android, making a website. Otherwise, as a senior developer in some large organization, you feel, oh, I know everything. I know the theory about it, but in reality, you have never built anything from scratch up
mm,
to getting the first dollar into your product. That is an experience in itself where you feel, oh, I have understood how this thing works. So
mhm.
that's the first humbling experience I had out of my college at Lehigh University. So I was doing my part-time studies while I was also working. I had two kids at the time, one and two. So it was a fun exercise with all those things piled up together. And then I thought, oh, this part-time thing is not doing very well. So I shifted to full-time. So
Mhm.
that was another big leap of faith, saying, okay, are you feeling that much confident that you can come out of it without pay for 2 years with kids? And my partner, my wife, was very supportive of this. So she thought, this is the opportunity I was waiting for. And it all works out well towards the end. But while going through that process, nothing was much clear. But yes, something will come out of it and it'll be good. That was the only part. So in the college, while I was studying my master's for business, I went on hackathons. So Lehigh is in East Coast, Pennsylvania, and it is close to quite a few other universities. UPenn is 45 minutes, Princeton is another hour, NYU is an hour and a half, Columbia is another half. So this college environment actually is very conducive to hacking events. So all of these students, through this grapevine, everybody, hey, this is happening this week, and you want to go? Yes, I'm ready.
Mm.
And you go there, you take a sleeping bag, sleep under the desk, and uh, that's what happened. So initially, I did not know what was going on, but soon I started getting the hang of it. So my first break I got at UPenn, where they have this annual event called Penn Apps, and so I get to stay there and overnight, and I got shortlisted in the finals. I'm like, okay, this is good. I This
Mm.
is a marked achievement in 1 year of trying to
Exciting, very exciting.
rebuild yourself.
Mhm.
Then very soon after that, then there was Hack Princeton, which is at Princeton University. So there we won one of the cool hacks. And again, one more thing was very humbling that you cannot do it alone.
Mm.
You may feel like you may have all the skills, but it is in finding those group of people, varied group of people who actually get it done with you. So
Right.
that was also a very big lesson. Like, maybe this startup journey, doing all alone, gung ho, may not be all that it is cracked up to be. So this is the lone wolf story is probably not going to make it. Although
Mm.
it is very massaging to ego, like, one man does everything
Yes.
and solving and becoming a millionaire or billionaire in that process. It rarely happens. So that was the other lesson through this. Like, success always is with the other group of people. You may not like them, but for the journey that is that you are embarked on, you deal with it
Yep.
and you go out. So this is not a permanent journey where, like, oh, you have become a co-founder, that's it. You're for the journey that you are signed up, you should be nice to each other. At the end, it's up to you how you take it to the. But that is the only time that you have to commit to. So these are all lessons learned in a short duration in that 1 year. So that 1 year, 2012 to 2013, was transformative for me. So end of that, with all the hacking resumes, victories and wins and mentions in these university presses, I start getting calls from Google and Facebook and all those things. But I already had worked in the US, so getting a work visa and I think was a little bit more complicated. I had to go out, come back, and all these complications. And probably I was also not too feeling that well, that much interested in going into Google. Yes, the money was good, but I don't think it is all it cracked up to be. It's not that much fun. That is what I started getting the interviews and people that I talked to. Like, what do you guys do? Like, we do this. Okay, you do that. Okay. It didn't look like some place I wanted to go. So when the offers didn't materialize, I didn't feel that much sadness.
Mm.
And then come through the hacking networks and all these things, I came to know a bunch of people are trying to do building products and whatnot. So I get to meet a bunch of them. Again, location was very important because all these meetings took place either in Philly or in New York. So it was very easy for me to take a bus or drive all the way in and meet the people. So I met 2 or 3 people in New York, 1 or 2 in Philly, and my approach was that I will work with all of them to see which chemistry works out. Some were in an area the people who started didn't know much, but they had good credentials. They were like NYU alumni and Princeton alumni, and were doing something in finance. And if I ask something about finance, they are like clueless. Okay, what are these guys talking about? So they have some idea, but they were also very green in their area of work. Finance being, I think nobody gets becomes an expert in finance. That's my feel I got. Like,
Excellent.
everybody knows a small piece of it, and that's about it. Then I met with a bunch of other people who were doing hardware products. Then another person was doing game products. So gaming, although I had used gaming, but I did not know much about gaming and the business of gaming.
Mhm.
So I gave that a pass. So what remained was the hardware product. So this was a one person out of Yale who is a sportsman, who is a rower in the Yale team, and he was trying to build a navigation device. So his phone always fell off his bicycle. That was
Wow.
his problem.
Right, right.
And so at the time of early iPhones, these were not good thing. Like, we did not mount a
Mhm.
phone on a racing bike and
Right.
then make it go well. So then he was trying a few things, and he said, like, no, I want your help. And then so I said, okay, I am a software person. I do not know much about hardware. How do you for that, he had another friend that he had knew. So this guy is from South Africa. So he happened to know somebody from South Africa who was visiting States at the time. So, okay, we'll sit together and find out if something comes out. So initially, all of this work was done remotely. Like, we were just
Mm.
like what we're doing, Zoom and Google Meet and whatnot. Then we said, okay, I think this may have some legs. So I was able to build some prototype. The hardware guy was also able to put together Arduino and other things and Bluetooth and all those things to say, okay, this may actually take some shape.
Right.
So immediately we thought, so this is 2013 times when Kickstarter, Indiegogo, all of these were a very popular
Yep.
means of doing pre-sales. And so our idea was, why don't we all hold our life for 2 months and then get together in Airbnb and in a cheapest place that we can afford, like middle to all three peoples where we're living, and just duke it out for
Yeah.
2 months and see if we can come out with a campaign from which we can start this product. So that is what decided. So we did the search, and our search was lowest price first in Airbnb that can house three people, and we found one in Jersey City, in the most dingiest parts of the city, that is.
Of course.
And we got it, and we get together and we start cranking. And so what when we started living together, we found out, okay, this chemistry is actually pretty good. We are working well together.
Mm.
There's So that was a first, like, confidence boosting. Okay, whatever that we make, I think we can make things together. This chemistry will work. From there, we start building our first prototypes. So we 3D printed a bunch of things, the shells and covers of it. I was working on making the Bluetooth and app and all this kind of thing with navigation. The other guy was with design. So all three things complemented to each other. So 2 months pass, and we end up shooting a video, putting it on Kickstarter. Kickstarter, when we applied, they said, no, no, we will take 10% of your company. This is too early for you guys. So we approached Indiegogo. They kind of we didn't like what they're offering. So there was another company called Dragon Innovation. So that was also trying to do something in this space. And we said, okay, they were giving to free of charge. And we were scrappy three dudes. What would you do? So we'll
Right.
take the free option. And so we put the starter campaign, and in 3 weeks' time, we reached our target around $150,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is what we raised. So it was a T-shaped device. It looked like a hammerhead shark.
Mm-hmm.
So we named the product and the company Hammerhead.
Oh, cool,
So
man.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so with the video we shot, so we had a friend in NYU who was a cinematographer who was moonshining for NBC at some point, and he is a big fan of New York. So we shot the whole thing in New York City. Like,
Beautiful.
it's very, very amazing. We didn't, while shooting it, we didn't know it how good it'll come out, but the end result was amazing. We were surprised. Like, we made up for that happen. So
Incredible.
this was very, very interesting. So with our ragtag group of people, just four of us. One was driving, one was having a dolly, one was having the camera, one guy was riding it. So we
Wow.
shot all of that ourselves,
Wow.
which was so much fun. So that's a highlight of my life as a student in the US.
Mm.
And the campaign was successful. So very soon we started getting the money into the bank accounts, and like, we did not have any company accounts. So it ended up in one person's account, which ended up in trouble later on in life for tax reasons, but
Oh, no.
whatever. So we started getting some interest, and very soon Techstars, for some odd reason, however, they said, like, "No, we are having a program in New York City that is focused with for connected devices, IoT, all those kind of things. Why don't you apply?" So we apply, we have an interview, we shoot videos and whatnot, and we sent to them. I said, okay, fine, please come join in December. So this is October, and December we are in New York City, in fancy Midtown
Mm.
with RGA. RGA is a big design and advertisement company in New York. So they were the art and ad makers for Nike, Apple, Walmart, those kind of
Right.
things. So big dudes with lots of design and ad and publicity experience,
Mm-hmm.
and they host us, the Techstars team there. So Techstars also has a Techstars regular one, the Techstars New York. This is something called Techstars Powered By, which they partner with certain industry titans. So that is what their experience was. So we get to work in their fancy office next to the I think the post office that's on Harold Street. And so from there, we start our first journey as a valid company with a lot of people coming and giving us design advice and helping us out. So, and from there, we came to know so much about, okay, this is not just trying to build something and soldering things together, but you have to find a distribution. We had to find.
Right.
So that was our crash course into business, not the MBA, but that 6 to 7 months. And at the end of it, they took us to South by Southwest,
Oh,
2014,
yeah.
which was even more surprising for us. So as a young team, we said, okay, we are going to South by Southwest. Why don't we hop off to Mardi Gras, because that is just around the time when that
Yes.
happens.
Yes. Yes.
We all
Exactly.
take a flight to New Orleans,
Yep.
have a couple of days fun, and then drive from New Orleans to Austin.
Oh
So that
boy.
was another bit of fun, going through all of the deep south
Mhm.
and going through. So it was a lot of fun. So that was a part of America I personally had never seen.
Right.
So so different talking styles, different food choices, different environment, and all fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Very, very, very fun time. And South by Southwest also very interesting. So we
Mm.
presented, so that was our demo day, South by Southwest.
Cool, man.
Oh, yeah. So very soon after that, the program starts doing reach fund, for fundraising. So they had prepared us for fundraising very well. Everything was polished and ready to go.
Mhm.
So we go on a roadshow and we get our initial angel round done. Techstars themselves poured in quite a bit of money. And with then the partner networks, we got around 1.6, 1.7 mil,
Cool.
which was very, very encouraging for us. It took a while. South by Southwest ended, I think, April, and money in the bank was by August, September, that time. So very quickly we were able to close enough to start our operations properly. So now comes the big question: how do we produce all these things that we have taken orders for? We have already been a year, almost 6, 7 months
Yeah.
in after taking the money from people.
Mm.
So then starts the China discovery. Can we? Who is there in China? How will we find these people who will build
Mhm.
it for us? And finally, so that was the hardware part. My other partner, Lawrence, who was the hardware guy, he took care of that. I was the software person, and I'm from India. So where do we get software built cheaply? To
Yep.
India. So
Mhm.
so I ended up coming back to India and finding the people to make it happen. So that is the first big journey
Wow.
into entrepreneurship as well. So I think I have gone through quite a bit of that, so I can proudly claim that I am completely transformed from working for a large company to running a fairly medium-sized company,
No,
which
awesome.
was very, very, very interesting. Happened very quickly, and learned quite a bit. I think not only the business but also how to work with people who do not have the same intent as you,
Right.
how to work with those differences, because the differences are the reason why businesses happen. If everybody wants the same thing, then there is no interest in
Okay.
doing things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, so actually there's so
Mm,
much to talk about with regards to
mm,
your journey. First of all, when you brought up obviously the difference between working from a big company and the technology there,
mm,
right, that you're working on. Usually working on like applications that have already been
mm,
established and you're kind of doing maintenance and very little innovations going on. So of course, somebody who's creative, a startup is more exciting, it's more fun. And that's what a lot of people like yourself transition towards startups, right? Then you talked about the lesson that so many people don't realize is so important is needing a co-founder. There's a famous saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
mhm,
Obviously, with
mm,
startups, if you want to be successful, you must have a co-founder. And then the lessons that you learned along the way, really inspiring stuff, man. Like that journey. I wonder what it felt like to be a young guy, working on the
mm.
startup with three other dudes, right? And then you got $1.7 million in your bank account. How did that feel then?
We did not know what to do because we were very scrappy people.
Yeah,
So that was one good thing going for us. We were not very expensive people. So our favorite place to shop was not Whole Foods, but Trader Joe's, which was
right.
surprisingly the common denominator for all three of us. Like that we did not know, but we enjoyed Trader Joe's. And in Trader Joe's, a week supplies for three people is $50.
Okay. That's not bad at all.
So
I think it's
that was,
different. I think it's different now, though. It's an expensive grocery store now, right?
yeah, this is 2012,
Yeah.
2013. So $50 was sufficient to
Mm,
get a enough milk, enough bread, enough fruits, enough all packaged foods, and still money left to go.
yeah.
50, 55, that's all you needed.
Oh.
And if anything was in short supply, you just do another Trader run and then you get it back. So,
Yeah, scrappiness is so important. It sounds like
yeah,
during your journey, you guys did a lot of things that didn't scale, right?
yeah,
You were
yeah.
actually, physically interacting with customers and,
Mm,
like you said, getting an Airbnb all
mm,
together where you didn't even meet each other for the first time. That's amazing stuff. And that's some stuff that people don't really do all the time. They
yeah,
just
yeah,
sit and
yeah,
plan behind their computer and don't actually go
yeah.
out, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the first bunch of people that to whom you sell any idea is your co-founder.
Mm.
And if you don't succeed in that, there is a flaw either in you or in the story that you are saying. So in my opinion, so there is this romantic aspect of like, oh, doing it all alone. But nothing is doing it all alone. Our humans' primary ability as humans is to cooperate.
Mhm.
And if that is not there, then something is not right. Right.
That's
So,
right. That's right. Yeah, we're
uh,
social animals and
mm,
we need to be surrounded by people and we're doing things for
mm,
people. When you run a business,
mm,
it's not for yourself, it's for
yeah,
others, right?
yes, yeah.
So I
So,
think it builds empathy in as well. Obviously team effort.
yeah.
Great stuff, man. That's a really great story. So, what happened to that company?
2014 onwards, we started building our first product. 2015, I think we were able to find a vendor, make our products because these are reality checks for us. Like, say our order size was around 2,000 units. And in China, 2,000 units is not a big deal. This is a half a day's run in a large factory, a 3 days run in a medium-sized factory, and a week-long run in a very small one. So in Shenzhen, a whole bunch of people who do all kinds of things. These are people who make your utensils to your iPhone covers. They will run it whatever is interesting. So to find one who will actually do it on credit a little bit, who is not asking you to pay upfront everything. So this is a large like a lesson learned in actually manufacturing is it sucks up money faster. So the argument of 1.6 mil
Mhm.
is half of it gets parked very quickly
Yes, yes,
somewhere else.
exactly. All
Right.
in inventory, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So even before inventory, like you have to do the die cuts. Now, die cuts are not a quick process. It takes time. It takes
Mhm.
iterations. Sourcing the parts, you may not get all of them in one go.
Mhm.
You may have to say, oh, we have the Eagle files. Eagle files are what you do for PCB designs, and we send it over.
Mhm.
It may not come out the quality way. Maybe it is not tolerances are not good. Maybe some parts that you picked are not suitable for the environment that you're running. An example of this is we sourced a small diode for the switch, and we discounted or forgot the fact that, well, this device is going to get used outside, and the
Mm.
covering on that is dark. So when it heats up, the whole damn thing won't shut off. You can't turn it off.
Oh no. Oh
Right. See,
no.
these are lessons we learned
Hmm.
going through. So these factors that we thought, so we were also coming up as industrial engineers and software developers. So eventually we were able to bypass those. But the fact that it happened and it was because of ignorance
Mm.
it shows up more often. Like is what I'm trying to say here. Like
I see.
it is a very humbling experience trying to do manufacturing. It is not as trivial as to go to China and
Right.
like make it.
Right.
It takes quite a bit of time
Mm.
to get it right. So
Yes.
that was our first product. Very soon we realized that we may need to up our game. So we may need to compete with the likes of Garmin and other things.
Hmm.
So our second product was called Karoo. So Karoo is a desert in southern Africa.
Hmm.
So since my other two co-founders came from there, so we said, okay, we'll have a heritage name to that. And
Hmm.
even hammerhead sharks are very common in South Africa,
Hmm.
apparently. So hence the names of hammerhead. So Hammerhead Karoo came up. So this was a based on Android. Uh,
Okay.
so it was very similar to what a Wahoo or Garmin or TomTom, but more industrial engineering, more self-contained units. So there also our skills in meeting and talking to a whole bunch of other people helped. For instance, one of the big gripe with all of these phone-based products is when you keep it in the sun, the auto dimmer
Mm,
basically makes it bright, so
right.
it consumes all the battery very quickly if you keep anything in the sun.
I see.
So how do you handle it? And then you have, if you are a exercise guy and you're running, you'll see all your sweat and grime and spit falls onto that, and
Mm-hmm.
that also makes it go bad. So that's why many of these devices have less switches rather than touchscreens. The
Mm,
reason is that. So what we came to know through some connections is that, these oil rigs and other things, they also have all these touchscreens. So they use a different technology. So we came to know about that, and it's okay. We'll bring that display onto our product. So all these other innovations, that only because we were talking to so many other people, and we found a vendor who will supply that, and we got it to Japan, China,
wow.
made it work together. So it was a the success, I think, was attributed to a whole bunch of people. So that's the lesson I learned. Whatever came out of it is not just because of we magically making it happen. It's
I see.
because a whole bunch of so it's a humbling exercise for me in the startup world. So
Mm,
Karu 2 came out. Karu 2 was successful. We released our first product. We came to know so much about data analytics because one of the interesting data analytics was when we made this Karu, we had source batteries. And, not all batteries come the same batch.
right.
So the problem is, but how do you know which batch and which batteries are going bad? So we had built a bunch of software to collect these data metrics, and
Mm,
then now predictively analyze, oh, this battery is going to die. So we know
mm.
who this device was sold to. So we started messaging them, say, Mr. X, your phone may, this thing may die. We like to give you a free replacement.
Oh,
And that surprisingly was so popular and happy. Customers started liking our service side.
great.
Yeah, so it was very interesting. The first real life use case of data analytics, predictive analysis.
Mm,
This is pre ML, so standard machine learning, standard data analysis. Okay, these batteries are going to die. They don't look like they will last another 4 days or 1 month. So
right.
reach out to these device IDs which have been sold. So luckily, to know whom a particular device is sold, that itself is a good set of exercise to do. Okay, how do you make the sale happen?
Mm-hmm.
Which parts of these things are recorded in your inventory management and sale management? Like, okay, I know, okay, this batch, this particular device got sold to this person.
Right,
This has to be
exactly.
recorded at some point to
Mm-hmm.
know. So those operations are very, very nicely done. So the kudos to the team that actually, I don't think they thought that this was necessary, but the fact that they had stored it helped us.
That's why it's so
So
important to have so many different people on your team, right? With diverse ways of thinking. You didn't
yeah,
maybe think about this, but they did, right?
yeah,
So that helped later on. So that's why that's important to have so many different team members. Really cool
so
stuff, man. You know,
yeah.
your background is obviously extremely, diverse, working for a big company, building and scaling a startup,
Mm,
a hardware, like a hardware
mm,
kind of software
mm.
solution, right? Now
Yeah.
you're more so in software, is that correct? Your startup?
Yeah. So the lesson with hardware we will learn was like, no, I don't want to do hardware more. But the
Yeah.
reason being, hardware is really, really hard. There
Yeah,
is no retrials, no, and the amount of cash required upfront is very high.
right.
And looking at the current scene, we didn't think that is a possibility. So I wanted to do a pure software company. So the second company that I started with two other people in India, so that was a purely software product. But again, there the limitation was data. We said, okay,
Hmm.
we'll do a lead generation plus due diligence verification product for India focused market. India has a lot of data on customers and companies, but it is not that well correlated.
Mm.
So we were trying to solve that problem. So let me tell you what happened to Hammerhead. So Hammerhead post COVID, SRAM, the cycling equipment manufacturer out of Chicago. So they bought us.
Oh,
So that
cool.
was a great exit for us. So wealth-wise, peace to mind-wise, because this story is ended. This is nice. Uh,
Yes, exactly.
so
That's
so
awesome,
so
man.
so that was
That's the
very,
dream.
very,
That is the
yeah,
dream, man.
that's
Yeah.
the dream. So for 2013 to 2021, 8 to 9 years, it was that's just that. It was fun doing it. There were bitter parts in the middle, but at the end, it all
It's
worked
worth
out,
it. Yeah.
and all of us are still in touch. One of our co-founders is still working with SRAM because other reason the SRAM office, which take care of our product, is in I think South Dakota right now, and he
Hmm.
surprisingly fell in love with South Dakota. So he loves staying there in Spearfish. It's in the middle of
Interesting.
nowhere, and he loves it there. So
Nice, man.
he says he's going to stay. He's actually from California,
Oh, cool.
and so he now has a kid, a daughter, and his wife is a nurse and all of that. So yeah, I'm here for a while. Let's keep going.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the other guy has moved on. So he's doing something else.
Hmm.
I can't tell that now, but I'm back in India. Started my second company. That also exited, but not to that same level. I don't think
Mm.
that would have happened because we started in 2021, 22
Hmm.
that time,
Hmm.
and we exited in 24, 23 time.
Okay.
So did not do that much work, but we did solve a certain set of problems. So this
Hmm.
product was called LeadZen, focused lead generation product for AI, using
Mm.
AI in India. But we got bought out by Pantomath. This is a boutique IPO specialist company, so that
Okay.
does MSME IPOs
Mm.
in India, and they like the other co-founders. They like our product and said, "Okay, we would like to outright buy you out." And so at that time, they were building a portfolio of financial companies,
Mm.
which is still there. I had not understood what our theory was because we were one of the 10 companies that they purchased that particular year.
I see.
So they had a mutual fund company. There was a few other companies, all kinds of. But they had some theory. Okay, I want to place this product here and that product there and that product, some financial lifeline
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
life cycle product, something of that sort.
Mm.
So I still consult with them. There are things that that team is still working on. So once in a while I work.
Nice.
So since then, I have moved on to my third one. So last year, Antler, the company, uh, sent some invites. I
Hmm.
thought, actually, why don't you apply? I did not know about it. I had known that Antler existed, but I had never considered this.
Right.
And since the second company also exited, I was thinking what to do. I had bought a house by then, so I was busy with getting the house in place.
Hmm.
So, okay, this is a good time to start. So, keeping in tradition with doing more adventure work. So I thought, I got applied for the Bangalore cohort and the
Hmm.
Singapore cohort. The Bangalore cohort is just 2 streets or 3 streets away from my house,
Oh, nice.
and I thought, no, that's not
That would
fun.
be
Let's
convenient.
be
Yeah.
that's too convenient.
Yeah.
So why don't I make my life a little bit more harder and go
Uh,
to Singapore? So I ended up going to Singapore,
mm.
which for surprisingly, once I went there, I thought, no, why didn't I consider this area sooner?
Right.
Because I had not thought about it. But once I went there, okay, this is actually workable.
Hmm.
Singapore will work out.
Hmm.
So went to the program. I went through their boot camps and I went to the pre-IC, but I got kicked out in the pre-IC.
Mm.
Didn't make it through. But the exercise of meeting people was very fruitful. So I met my co-founder, Victor, there,
Hmm.
and so he had the experience, and we did a bunch of boot camps, and I think the chemistry worked out okay.
Hmm.
So again, that chemistry is very important early on.
Yes.
That's the reason why even through when things are not good, we'll stay together. If it
Yep.
was just objectively, this startup, if the startup doesn't do well or we don't hit these metrics, we go apart. Maybe it works for some. Uh, I don't think it works the way I think. So it needs to be a little bit more personal in
Hmm.
that way. Only then it will come out on the top.
Right.
That's my feel. So, and at the program, we said, okay, we'll do our own, and combining our interest in AI and marketing and branding, we said, okay, we should think about this. We went and met a bunch of people that Victor had connections to, and
Mm,
we uncovered this area of, okay, the branding exercise is not that well done in
mhm,
the SME and MSME area, and that needs some help. And AI could be that help
mhm,
that may help in this area. So we started experimenting. Okay, what kind of things do you need? What is the regular bread and butter of your
right.
marketing exercise? What is not happening, and what would you like to happen? And so that's what our talks with the initial people were, the customers
Mhm,
were, and then we said, okay, there is some baseline work which is not happening right now. In the past, whenever they had cash, they did do something, but then they had not kept it up.
mhm,
As a result, if you anybody goes to about their company online, the things are 4 years old,
mm,
and they get passed over, and they are busy, or their cash flow is not that great that they are able to focus back on it.
right.
So that's a good area to think. Like, well, the other way to think, well, if they're cash poor, then why would they want your product anyway? So these are all chicken and egg questions. So we thought, like, we'll do a pilot. So we built a MVP or MLP in my case, like a minimum lovable product
Mhm,
that is solving a problem from start to end. So that is what we have built right now. So we are
mhm,
doing demos to a bunch of customers, and another good part of Singapore is close to India, as in
yep.
time wise and distance wise. So
Mhm,
it is easy for me to fly to Singapore on any on demand basis.
Amazing.
And I will schedule my meetings towards the week in which I'm flying. And Singapore, I think people stick to their plans,
Mhm,
unlike some other parts
yes.
where meetings keep shifting that quickly. So at least, yeah, some parts I have found that meetings are planned, and 2 days before, oh well, I'm not here, I'm going somewhere else.
Ah, yeah,
So
that
I think,
happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in Singapore, that is a little bit less, which I appreciate. That
Mm,
means you can schedule
right.
and say, okay, I'm coming, please be there,
Mhm.
and they generally are there.
Yeah,
So
that's good. That's really good. Exactly. That is very key. So I guess how do you help the startups, right, or the companies that you're working with, uh,
Mhm.
come up with their branding and their marketing strategy? What does
Yeah,
Luminary Lane do for them?
yeah. So what we found out in our discovery part was, like, there are companies who have done branding in some part in the past. They have some idea about what their logos or what the message were target, but it was manned in the past, but it is
Mhm,
not manned anymore. Or whoever is manning it is not doing or they're on part time, or they have given it to some agency, which is like, okay. So what we found out is that the repeatability, or like, recency part is very missing in many
mhm,
places. So we thought the offering that we can give is not as a, like, here is a new logo, here's a new color. I think that is more from a band expert, like, somebody who can come. So this is very personal. There are products already out there. They'll make a 5 versions of logo, 3 versions of
yeah.
color. So I thought, like, that may not be in the area that I like. So it's already there. What is not here? Using that information to do the next part.
Mm,
So that is where we started wanting to play. So, okay, if you don't have one, pick one. I'm not going to supply you one, but
mhm,
give me a logo, give me a color, tell me first of all, what is your company about? It
mm,
cannot be 10,000 things. It can only be 3 to 5 things that your brand stands for. So, and you already know a bunch of customers that it could be speculative as well. So if you're a startup, you think my product will solve problem A, B, and C for a customer segment, and the same product can be solving problems X, Y, and Z for another customer segment. As long as
mhm,
that combination is clear, our product that we have built can be used.
mm,
So our initial part was saying, okay, we need to have the baseline content generation out. So it's okay, given your product or brand objectives, given your brand visuals and the target that you're going after, we can generate, let's say, 3 content pieces every week if that is something you want. Maybe you need more, maybe you need less. So that's what we offered initially. To which many people said, "Okay, fine. This is sufficient. We did not have this. At least now we are able to generate content that is ours,
Mhm.
which says and brings what our brand is all about, and which is makes sense for the target customer."
Right.
So that is what we have built. So as we have progressed with this, we have gotten interest in, hey, can you make podcasts? Which
Mhm.
basically is once a month or twice a month, which, I said, I don't know much about podcasts. If you give me a script, I can probably make an audio file out of that.
Oh,
That's about
cool.
it. But then I was looking at the AI scene, and there are some attempts at making podcasts. I'm
So
not sure
many.
how it,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
many attempts are there, right? So Google has come out with, but still, the high value podcasts like what you are doing still will exist,
Mhm.
but there may be a baseline, output that is, because if you see right now, there are quite a few that are actually doing it. Hey, if you look at it, just text being read,
Yep.
and now with auto translate in YouTube videos, this sounds so interesting. You can see with the Chinese and Japanese videos, they suddenly show up in English. Okay, this doesn't match one bit
Right.
what they're
Right.
talking,
Yes. Yes.
but still
Yes.
it is there. You can. This is Instagram has a lot of it. YouTube Shorts is full of that.
Mm.
So do this for your car, don't do this with your laptop, do that thing with your, you name it. So
Yeah.
there is an experiment or a demand for that kind of things, which is doing baseline work. So I'm experimenting with that to saying, okay, what is possible given the brand aspect of it, so that it one stays consistent with what you are saying, what your brand stands for. Second, it responds to what has happened. So you cannot build 10 podcasts now and then suddenly change it. Tomorrow
Right.
some scene changes and your podcast is talking about something irrelevant or
Right.
something. So in this hyper polarized world, a matter can suddenly become dangerous.
Yep.
Coming in India, where recently we had this war with our neighboring country.
Mhm.
Anything allegedly in support of something like that can become dangerous for you. So if you're a brand, that can become risky for you. So how do you handle this? So one of the things is, okay, don't plan 10 days or 15 days in advance. Do only week by week.
Mhm.
So generate content, and if you can, the AI agents can now actually pick up the news that is right now and say, okay, make sure that I don't get in trouble. Make sure
Mhm.
that
Right.
the general zeitgeist for the target customer that I'm going for does not is apolitical, something of that sort. So this is a settled matter. The prompts and other things are still evolving in this area, but that is one thing that we're saying. Okay, we'll make your content relevant to the times in which they are published,
Mhm.
so that you don't enter trouble. So,
Right.
or let's say this is the negative side. Why don't you take the positive side of it? Something is happening. Why don't you take benefit of the event? For instance, if Super Bowl is happening, why don't you take benefit of Super Bowl happening for your brand? Have you thought about it? Why,
Mhm.
if you're not, then the AI agent will think about it and generate some content that
Wow.
benefits you from there. If it is a Chinese New Year, perhaps your product is targeted towards Chinese expatriates living outside of China. Why don't you make something that makes sense there? Why don't you
Yep.
give some discounts? And these are
Mhm.
all which were part of a human and marketing person's job. These could slowly come into this side where the planning at least responds to near term future can happen.
Yeah, that sounds like a really tough task, like
Yes, it is.
it sounds really tough. There's so much that goes into marketing,
Mm,
and that's why
mhm,
humans are still there. There's the
mm.
creation
Yes.
aspect, right? There's the,
Mm,
like you said, the human events that AI
mm,
might not know about or
mm,
understand fully
mm,
that
mm,
you guys are trying to tackle. At
mm.
what point do you think it will be a time where no human is necessary?
I don't think ever,
Okay.
because as
That's
long
good.
as, yeah, the reason for that is as long as the end result is for a human, humans will be there. So that is what I was talking to in our previous call. Like when it is not humans, then all bets are off.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as the other end is a human eyeballs, then there will be human involved somewhere. So
Mm.
is it how much involvement? I'm not very sure. Like, for example, I'm very sure Nike will never make a completely AI driven marketing product because their product is for an aspirational aspect of things, which is very human.
Mm.
Maybe AI can generate close enough, but there will be a human at any point who will be responsible for saying, okay, this feels right, go for it.
Right.
Um, there are the AI agents and systems can give you all kind of metrics. Oh, this is perfect, scores high on that metric, scores low on this metric, but still be a complete garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So the objective measurements are there, but I think when brands like Nike, which are very aspirational, which portray a particular aspect of human needs, because you can live without a Nike shoe for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But why do you aspire to it is because you are buying into that idea of what
Yeah.
is performance and do it now, impulsiveness and like an athleticism and all of that.
Right.
And so in other cases where it is maybe let's say pharmaceuticals, which is directly say, okay, here is a problem, here is a solution. Other than the side effects part, if you let's say it does not have side effect, or if the side effects are not critical, then an auto AI system that generates regular content without much fear, that's doable.
Mm-hmm.
This is my guess. I am not do not come from pharmaceutical line to know that if it is legal or not, but I'm saying that the problem is very clear.
Mm-hmm.
The solution is here. Known side effects are here.
Mm-hmm.
Cost and other things being aside, this is a very straightforward marketing exercise. Okay, are unable to sleep. Well, here is a bunch of medicines or molecules that gives you sleep
Yep.
and does not have a side effect, and you can have it. So when the end result is much clear, then the human involvement may be less, or at least you may be able to generate the baseline marketing content, marketing pipeline good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while, you can get a celebrity to endorse. Once in a while, you
Right.
can get a sports star to endorse. Once in a while, you can bring in a familiar face. So the baseline, I think, can be covered with AI.
Okay.
The spikes in it, which is also important because well, you could get a celebrity, but you can't use their face forever. It is a limited shelf life. Even when George Clooney comes and says, "Oh, love, have this medicine and you'll go to sleep very well and dream about me," sure, and that has
Mm-hmm.
a shelf life. And after that, it again goes back to baseline. So that baseline needs to be filled. So there, I think AI will come.
That's
So
true.
that's why I say, like, the as long as it is intended for humans, there will be creative people like you and RGA and all these people who will come together, make high value. But that makes the difference between the good enough and the really good, that the distance becomes much, much farther now.
Oh, interesting. That'll be exciting times to see how it changes marketing. One of my questions for you with regards to that is, agents, they act on their own, right? And they interact with websites and other parts of the web, right?
Mhm.
So, do you ever think there will be a time when marketing companies will have to cater their marketing towards agents instead of humans in terms of
Yes,
how they'll
yes, yes.
interact with the website?
Yeah, so that is the new age question. So this is part academic, part possibility now. A version of this is already in existence now. So if you see the Y Combinator videos, they are inviting applicants for people who do business to agents, B2A
Mm.
companies. So they say if you are building any product that an agent can use and pay for it, they are interested to talk to you. So that's an interesting angle to look at. So then I did some digging, and out comes a bunch of companies that are already thinking about this. So one of the first aspects there would be how do you pay for this? So Stripe has a agent payment system. Visa has come up with a agent payment system, and very sure all other companies will very quickly follow. How do agents make payments, micropayments, all these kind of things.
So if I give my credit card to the agent, it can verify that it's my agent and not stealing.
No, 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 no. This is
Uh,
not that. This is, for instance, an agent says, I want a service. For instance, I want to do due diligence about you, about your financials. Now, this service is supplied on the internet by some other company. Now, this agent will say, okay, who will give me information about you, Lee,
Mhm.
about your financial status,
Mhm.
like credit score, whatnot. So there may be five vendors, and this agent can say, okay, I will pick the vendor that is more relevant, maybe because I know there's discounts or the distance that you as a human would have taken,
Mhm.
it can now start taking, and hence do the payment and get the information in return for you. So all the decision process that you would have done in front of your laptop would now, it is now possible to be done in the agent layer, because
Okay.
you have programmed the agents. Okay, make the wiser decision, do the cheapest one, make sure that you are able to go back. These are all things that you would
Right.
caution yourself against. Like, don't go for any spurious website. This does not look right. Something which is costing you this much money may not be correct.
Yeah.
So there is the reputation that we look and visualize through eyes now
Yep.
have to be done through a different system,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So payment being just one part, which is now visible now. Okay, how does the agent make a payment for X?
Mm-hmm.
To get the information about you, about other aspects of. So uh, here it opens a new area of business. Well, how do you present yourself to agents?
Yes.
Right? So if initially it was nice looking website and smooth looking thing, you have HTTPS logo,
Mm-hmm.
BBB logo, this, that, whatnot, and you have posted everywhere on social media how great you are. We are doing this podcast and all this kind of thing. How does an agent look at it?
Yeah.
Does
What
this
do they
consider
care
this?
about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So will Lumify Labs and Luminary Lane that we're talking about, will this podcast make a sense for an agent to say, okay, I should use you guys?
Mm-hmm.
So we place a lot of those value attached to a lot of value. Recency is important, consistency is important. Is it like, do these guys like, look like the guys who supply this information or service? These are all facts that we intuitively or tacitly absorb and say, okay, make a decision. Now that decision is not going to be done by human. So we have
Mm-hmm.
instructed, be nice, be careful. Now it interprets that and makes a decision according to its understanding.
I see.
So this is a new realm of business that is coming up. So my question there comes: what will be marketing look like in this area?
Mm-hmm.
Where is branding going to be? So there's already a bunch of people that I met um, during GTEx, the event that happened recently in Singapore. So they were saying like, no, we are thinking about how to do not SEO but Chat GPT SEO, so that
Yeah.
we are in the top list of things when Chat GPT or Perplexity people search in that and say, okay, um, my company, my product, my name, my brand should be
Mm.
on
Wow.
the top. So it is morphing in that form. So I'm not 100% sure how they're doing it, but the fact that they're thinking about it makes sense to me. That now a decent amount of search is happening through these chat agents,
That's right.
right?
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
you like now you'll say, oh, ChatGPT, tell me which five services should I use?
Mm-hmm.
What is your recommendation? So how does it do the recommendation? Like, is it human evaluation? Is it the SEO metrics? The SEO metrics that we use right now, are they going to value in this sometime? So right now it may be using the SEO metrics, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe it evolves to not use
Something
it.
else.
Maybe it evolves something else.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all areas which are still not understood very well. There are financial aspects to it. There is branding aspects to it. There's marketing aspects to it. So I suspect both academic interest is there, because this is a new area of economics. So
Mm-hmm.
if so, how it will operate? What is this new market going to look like? Will it even last? Is there a use for Web3 technologies here? Is there
Mm-hmm.
a cryptocurrency approach? Because cryptocurrency, in my opinion, seems to have gotten hijacked by, I would say, unsavory characters, but it seems to have gone in a direction which makes it skeptical.
Oh, I
And
won't
it
ever use it again. Never. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
so
but
against it. Yeah.
yeah, but still there is value in it. It's
Mm,
not completely valueless.
mm.
So maybe this B2A area could be a good area for this
Agents, right?
agent system, because there are no human emotions involved. At
Mm.
least it should not. So maybe the
Oh.
way of value transfer may work out.
Mm. Sounds like it. Sounds like a definite possibility.
Yeah, so
Really?
this needs to be explored.
Yeah.
So my bet is that there is quite a bit of research to be done here. There is quite a bit of scientific papers to come out of this.
Mm.
So my interest is as a student as a student, I'll partner with people who are wanting to do research. So Victor being Victor, he is very well connected in SIT circles. He himself was a professor at SIT in Singapore Institute of Technology in the past. So he said, okay, why don't you meet with a bunch of people in SIT? We will have some chats.
Mm.
We are looking at if there is a research interest, because if these two combine, I think there will be a very wonderful use case that comes out of it very soon.
Yeah.
Um,
Powerful.
so I,
Yeah.
I'm keen on that, because this is an active area of research, in my opinion,
Mm.
what to do. Um, and I think in nowadays the modern research angle also has opened up a little bit, because research tend to be very, like, do traditional stuff. Now
Right.
it is possible to explore in the AI aspects,
Mm.
business aspect, B2A, how this business, what is the financial and economic ramifications of this being, will the majority of financial decisions be taken by agents in the near future? Will there be a completely automated mutual fund, for instance? Will be S&P be completely not even need humans?
That would be great. When you spoke about emotions, trading especially is all emotional sometimes, right?
Yeah, but that also loses the fact that trading is a human activity.
Mm.
That emotion is necessary for the swings to take place.
Oh, that's
Right?
true.
See, the difference, if there is still water, there's nothing happening. It's like living inside a rock.
Right.
Everything is fixed in place. Then life never originated in rocks. Life originated in liquid, where things were not flying apart like in the air, but it was moving enough that serendipitous things could happen.
That makes so much sense. I didn't even think of it that way because you need people to buy, you need people to sell in order to create value long term
Mm,
or even short term. That's how people
mm,
make money. And then like geopolitical stuff influences it, other factors influence it, news influences it. So it's
mm,
all emotional reactions to things.
mm.
That's a great
Yeah.
insight. I didn't even think about that. But I hear a lot of robo advisors and obviously
Mm,
AI agents investing for us might seem like a great idea, but we need still mass
yeah.
mass
Yeah.
amount of humans investing in the stock market or else there's no value
Yeah.
creation, right?
Yeah. So the emotion is not a factor to discount. So
Right.
people say, like, well, economics should be completely unemotional. Which economics is unemotional? Point me to one.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Politics is not related to religion. Point me to one politics that is not related to
That's
religion.
right. That's right.
We are humans. Let's accept the fact these are our shortcomings, and it is wonderful because of that. Yes, a lot of pain did come because of that, but if all those emotions vanish, then there will not be much to do.
Hmm.
Uh, an example, you can look at high frequency trading. We say, oh, look, high frequency trading should be awesome. That means they are trading at microseconds for micro pennies and whatnot.
Hmm.
Yes, have you seen how much money they make? They do a lot of volume, but the
Hmm.
profits per transaction is microscopic.
Right.
This is what will happen when everything is non-emotional.
Hmm. That's true.
Because on the other side of selling and other side of buying, they can do the same amount of calculations and
Mhm.
computations. It'll simply, all the variations will just flatten out.
That's what they call
We'll,
the
we'll, we'll freeze. We'll
hmm
freeze,
hmm
which would be the worst outcome out of an AI
yeah,
system, where
exactly.
we don't do anything.
That's true. That is true.
We don't
That
do
is
anything. So humans are our emotions what drive a lot.
yeah.
So We may want not to have it. We may say, oh, no emotions in business. No, then business is not fun. No religion in politics, then politics is no fun.
Yeah.
No, because a lot of our life is informed by many of these things in the past. Like we say religion is Christianity is this, Judaism is that, Islam is that, all of that. But a lot of our lives are informed by these choices,
Yeah.
knowingly or unknowingly.
That's true.
Yes, we may not know it, but the reason why we should not be nice to somebody. Uh, Monkeys are not necessarily nice to each other. Humans
No,
are
they're
nice
not.
to each other,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's
So
true. That's true.
it's like that Richard Dawkins saying, like, you can send 100 humans across the sea from New York to London. The same thing if you send 100 baboons, they'll kill each other.
That's true.
End of story.
Yeah.
So a lot of us is informed by many of these things. So our politics, business, economics, all are dependent on our human emotions. When that goes away, then we also will not be there. Is my fear. So hence my interest in seeing, how much of us can we go into, the agent,
Yeah.
and what will the business look like. So right now it's very early days. We are
Yeah.
seeing some hints that there may be emotion. Do you want to dial it up or do you want to dial it down? Is logic supreme or emotion supreme? Should there be a balance to that?
Yeah, very exciting times. We talked about so many different areas, with AI and like marketing and everything in between. Really, really great conversation today, Raveen. Like your insights and experience are super, super valuable. And hopefully, people will get to learn from this and not make some of the
Yeah.
same mistakes, you made or we made together.
Yeah, I would like to be more like, I would like to, make scientific papers. I would make a product. I like to make a business, like
Yes.
all of this. So hopefully I can do all of that. So
100%. I hope you do as well. We do have a closing tradition on the
Mhm,
podcast where the last guest
mhm,
left a question for you, and you'll leave a question for the next guest. Are you ready
mhm.
for your question?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool. This is a very interesting one. So,
Mhm,
what drives you to do what you do today, and
mhm,
would you still do it if you lost key factors in your life, like key people or key things?
mhm.
Is this something that you would still do today if you lost those things in your life?
So the premise is I'm doing something that I like.
Mm-hmm.
It is based on a few things that are going for me. If those key things are lost, would I
Mm-hmm.
continue to do this?
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably give an example of this. So from there, perhaps. So from a young age, I had liked hiking, backpacking quite a bit. Like, I would do mountain climbing. So was living in Switzerland. It was heaven for me. Friday to Monday, I was up in the hills. And then when I came to the US, I was doing backpacking in all the
Mm-hmm.
White Mountains, week-long trips and whatnot. So um, then I got married. I had my kids. Things changed. The thing I loved the most, I can't do that.
Right.
My ground realities have changed. I had to switch to something else. That is what triggered me to doing into hackathons because
Mm-hmm.
it was not exciting for me anymore to leave a like a 9-month-old kid with colic saying, "Oh, I'll have fun in the mountains."
Mm-hmm.
I tried doing that as a cold father, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find it fun.
All right.
So I said, "Okay, this is not something I should do." So naturally shifted to something else, but still keeping the same adventure spirit. Okay, I need to do something interesting that keeps me
Mm-hmm.
interested. I want me to come back to do more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Few more years, I left backpacking and hiking and said, okay, I'll pick up cycling. So my kids are grown up. I'm in Bangalore. I'm cycling, and I ended up crashing and damaging my shoulder fully.
Oh, wow.
So stop cycling. What do I do? So right now, I have not found a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So both answers are true. Will I stop doing something else? Yes, if that is inevitable. For instance, um, I am an athletic person, but I am not now an athletic person. The effects are showing up. My blood tests are not great. I'm gaining weight. While I was cycling, none of those was matter. Like, blood test, cholesterol, who cares? I'll
Mm-hmm.
reduce it in my next
Right.
week. The answer to that question is, if there may be a pause, I'm still looking for something that fits. Maybe I pick my long distance running again from my college days.
Right.
So that's a possibility. But in my heart, I have the desire to do the adventure once more, but I still haven't found one. Had it been 10 years ago without kids, without wife and family, I would have tried 10 things by now and then found, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
again, keeping it. So the answer to that should be yes. I think yes and no. When situation was amenable, the intent was I want to be adventurous. Doesn't matter how. So it was mountains. Then it became computers and hacking. Now it went to cycling. Now I have an injury. Still haven't found, but my heart is still looking out for it. I think the adventure is what I'm looking for. So hence Singapore, not Bangalore.
Right,
So
right.
it would have been just a walk down the street.
Exactly.
No, I want to do something crazy. I want to do
Right.
something which makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, Singapore initially is very uncomfortable. It's hot and it's far away. Things are extremely costly and all this, but there is fun in doing that adventure. So
100%, man.
I came to know so many things. I came to eat so many foods that I never thought this existed. I went to Vietnam, and this is a different land.
Yes. Yeah, man.
You can't use a lick of English to talk, and you have to use Google Translate to even ask for where do I get to send this. So I wanted to get some photocopies, Xerox copies, and I had to roam around a couple of times around the block to get it done.
The struggle is real, man. Well, no, I mean, you've clearly been on an adventure throughout your whole life, man, living in so many different cities around the world. You said Switzerland as well. Like, this is incredible. So, yeah, keep on having that adventure, right? Because life's too short to not, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, life unexamined. So my examination is like, how do I keep adventurous throughout the end? Like, adventures form changes. What was adventurous when I was 20 is different from what is adventurous when I'm 45. But the fact that you want to do it is, I think, so in one way to answer that, yes, I will not change. I'll find a different means of doing it.
Okay.
But there may be a pause
Right.
in
That
the
makes
middle.
sense. Awesome. Well, thanks for that great answer. Now it's your turn to leave a question for the next guest.
All right. Since we dwelled on AI quite a bit, so question to the next person coming onto the program is, what would you not want the AI to do? We were saying it should do this, it should do that, it should do. Where will you say, no, this is an absolute. You can have AI in surprisingly, you can build in your head, you can build in your body. People are exploring everywhere, which is an area which you would not want to do. Would you like to have an AI god, or would you not want to have an AI god?
Probably not. That would be a bad thing. Yes, I think.
So,
Yes.
an area where you absolutely would not want AI to even remotely be there.
I see. Good. Awesome. Great question, man. Yeah, I think that's a really great one to explore with everyone. So thank you so much for coming on. If the listeners want to, connect with you, is LinkedIn the best way?
That is the best way. I keep my LinkedIn profile up to date.
Excellent.
That's
I will link that down below along with anything for Luminary Lane you'd like me to share with them as well. Thank you so much for coming on, Raveen. It's been a pleasure. And do more podcasts.
Yes, I will.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Product Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to share your PM stories, challenges, struggles, or insights with us on a future episode, please get in touch with us on LinkedIn. We'd love to have you on and keep this conversation going. Until next time, happy building, everyone.